Hi, everybody, and welcome to Variant Roles on this special date and time and place. Okay, no, something is... Oh, there we go. Sorry,
Oh,
I still
yay!
had... God damn it. Today's not working well.
This is going to be one of those sessions, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I had the audio on.
No one's quite here today, and...
Yeah, I know. I've been, traveling the weekends, but anyway. Alright, so we are here. Not our usual time, not our usual place, and it is apparently affecting all of us. Nevertheless, we will try to bring you a good game and a great session, because we are in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. I am your Dungeon Master, Dan Gaston. I am here with the Autumn crew, who are all fabulous, fantastic people. And we are hot on the trail of the Stone of Golorr and 500,000 gold dragons in the city of Waterdeep. I know. Fabulous. I wish I could have that money in real life. Avocado toasts all the time. Alright, so let us go around and say hello to all of our fabulous players, because we've got everybody here this week.
Yay!
Which is great. So, Nox, let's start with you. How are you doing?
Good. I'm happy to be back. I feel a little out of practice. But I'll work it out today, I guess. But I am playing the role of Dahlia, the Aladdin bard, who is currently very mopey in their winter form right now.
Yep. Goth AF Dahlia at the moment. Or maybe just emo, I guess. Maybe just
emo.
More emo, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably there's definitely the level of emotional maturity is probably on the teenage level.
So in other words, Winter Dahlia should be playing on Monday.
Oh, okay.
We have a bunch of teenagers
with team feelings on Monday.
Man.
Which we love. We are not throwing shade. We love our Monday crew. Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's make our way around the circle. Matt, how are you doing this week?
Doing good. Glad to be back. And like Dahlia said, kind of feel like a little out of practice, so we'll find out. I'll be playing Sticks, all right, our resident bouncer, and all about take your care of cleaning up after everyone.
In more ways than
Yes.
one. Absolutely. All right. Continuing on, Ryan, how are you doing this week, Ryan?
Doing well. I've been looking forward to it all week. This has been a long time coming. But I'm doing good. I'm playing Sindrit Boneforged, aka Doc, the Dwarven Forged Cleric. So just trying to keep everyone going and give them a nice boost when they need it. So.
Absolutely. It's always good to have a cleric in the party.
Yes.
Jeff, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty well, recovering from travel myself, so
Yep.
a little out of sorts like everyone else, so I should fit in.
Sorry, keep going.
I'm playing Thaddeus Brosfeather tonight, Waterdeepian noble, and thinks a lot more of himself than he should.
Excellent. And, of course, last but certainly not least, Cindy, how are you doing this week?
I am not out of sorts. I am on point.
Excellent.
I'm also lying through my teeth. We'll see. I am playing Emmeline Brosfeather, the Waterdeepian noble, who is the younger sister, but better Brosfeather. Younger sister Thaddeus here. Here, or I think on Twitch, here.
That's right.
There's a reason I'm above him.
Also, I'm a monk, has to be on top, right? Excellent. All right. So, last week, we had our grand opening. Autumn Drafts and Donuts finally opened. And and it went pretty well. You had a lot of your friends show up, and partway through the night, including Edwin, the lovely mopey dude in the corner who drank milk and water all night. Didn't buy a single beer or dank donut, but that's okay.
Alcohol goes to his head. Okay, leave him alone.
And midway through the party, the Grumble arrived with information about having found the Nimblewright that you were looking for hiding out in an alley, and you went in pursuit. You tried to capture it alive, but the Nimblewright was having none of that. So after a protracted battle in an alleyway amidst refuse that got covered in grease and webbing of magical origin and rope and the Grumble, it was just a total and utter I don't want to call it disaster because you guys came out on top, but it was a feat. It was a feat. We'll just leave it at that. But you managed to destroy the Nimblewright and make your way back. And amongst its possessions, you found, or rather the Grumble found, because the Grumble took the opportunity to search the remains.
That's what we pay him for.
That's right. Or not pay them,
or
but
train
whatever.
them for.
They're unpaid interns. The way of the future. They're millennials in every way. You did come across a map with a quite literal X marks the spot on said map, noting a alley in the trades ward, and beside the X was written the name Fenerus Stormcastle. And you returned to your inn that evening to finish up your grand opening and decide what to do the next day, assuming that the Nimblewright had carried this Stone of Golorr, presumably to Fenerus Stormcastle from the Growlhun's villa. So we had Dahlia and Styx not in residence last week. Nox, I think we talked about Dahlia, and so Dahlia in winter form, I think, was just not feeling up to adventure during the grand opening.
Not up to partying or adventuring. Probably sat in the dark corner of her own quarters, or the ones upstairs, or something.
Yep. Excellent. But so you could hear the party going on downstairs, and it was going quite well. I think some of the members, the extended, so there's kind of like the core, like the Grumble, but then there's like associated other goblins who are not necessarily always with the Grumble. Or, the Grumble's just like a rotating subset of teenage goblins that go on adventures with you. About a dozen or so at any one time, but you've got a few around. So,
and they're all named after like famous historical figures in Waterdeep, famous artisans and whatnot.
Yes, that's right. So I imagine periodically, they would have came up and checked on you and brought you like food and stuff and tried to cheer you up, because the Grumble would definitely be those kind of people, like do a little song and dance and try and get a smile out of Dahlia.
I love it. That's exactly what happened. That's canon.
Yeah, excellent. And Styx, what about you? What was Styx up to during the night?
Well, I'd actually ended up gotten called away for a job. There had been a couple of accidents that had happened that needed to be cleaned up, and
excellent.
So the other business called for a little bit, so I had to wander off and go fix a few things.
All right. Okay. So, but both of you guys managed to either be at home or come back, during the time or the aftermath. So you've been sort of filled in on what happened with the Nimblewright. You have a copy of the map. Cleo took the original, so he made like a temporary magical copy, which then you guys copied again. You tried to have the Grumble copy it, which turned out to only provide an accurate map if you like assembled all 12 individual incorrect maps in just the right way. But nevertheless, you then, I believe it was Emmeline that like actually sketched out an accurate copy pretty quickly because it wasn't that hard. So you know the location of the alley in the trades ward that is your target essentially. And Bent is now in possession of a provided wizard spellbook and spellcasting focus and like set of components courtesy of Cleo, requisition from the Blackstaff.
Ooh.
So
Damn it,
yes,
Cleo.
Bent has now been upgraded from a level 0 maybe goblin sorcerer to a level 1 wizard.
Good job, Bent.
There you go.
All right. Okay, so we will pick up the next day. So you have your map. You've tackled the Nimblewright. What are you guys going to do?
Boy.
This would be a good discussion over breakfast too. So I suggest that we sit down and have something to eat and talk about this.
Over Dunkin' Donuts.
There you go.
Discussing what's going on. Well, just like before, we probably should get the body out of the cellar.
Yeah.
Question about your
I
donuts.
can take care of that one pretty quickly.
Have we taught any of these goblins how to make coffee?
Oh, absolutely. That's like a key component. Coffee, tea, donuts, your standard breakfast. They can pour beer. You know, they're not the best sommeliers, so you guys have kept your wine list, I imagine, like a little bit
Pretty
a little
short,
bit
yeah.
Short side, so.
Get a house red, a house white.
I was about to say, yeah, you want red or white. If they say any other colors, don't order that.
Yeah.
Do you want bubbles with it or no bubbles?
So before breakfast, I think I'm going to go try to get a message to Edwin because I keep trying, but people interfere.
Excellent. Okay.
I think that I just kind of wander, like trudge down to the main like tavern area and like saddle up to a table where everybody else is and just kind of like ask for a cup of coffee. When it comes, I just sort of lean my head over it.
Excellent.
Dahlia, what's up?
The Crumble was trying to cheer me up and they just kept feeding me beer after beer. I think I got a little too I think I indulged in their generosity a little bit more than I intended to.
Well, if alcohol's not what you want, I've been working with them on percussion.
What?
Do you want a demonstration?
No.
I'd suggest the eggs in the morning.
Percussion. Percussion's especially good in the morning after you've overindulged.
I might not be of red color anymore, but I'm not afraid to punch you out anyways. Please don't.
Bring it.
Just look at you out of the corner of my eye, like side eye.
So anyway, trying to change the subject to help Dolly out.
Before we end up getting murdered.
Right. More bodies in the cellar.
Oh, Dahlia!
Oh my god. I stare at you, I don't respond.
Coffee flavored.
Never mind.
Well, did the House of the Helping Hand say anything about returning this Nimblewright to him, or are we just going to toss it?
They did. They offered a reward. So let me just double check because I'm trying to remember if they specified if you returned it intact or not.
Oh, no,
It's
not alive or
slightly
dead, just
singed.
intact.
Maybe we can hastily assemble it.
Somebody cast mending on it, didn't they?
So there's no
yeah, for
gunshot
the
wound,
bullet hole.
but it ain't
Yeah.
moving.
So mending, the same guy who burned it to a crisp.
That's right. Here. Oh, actually, they specified that they wanted it destroyed. So Valletta offered you 500 gold pieces if you destroyed it.
Oh.
And if you return with actual proof of its destruction, they
Like it's-
offered to make you or to reward you with one of these like non-magical inventions that they
Oh.
Let's take the pieces back.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all intact. It's just bound up and
Yeah.
in the cellar. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to be clear,
Absolutely.
you don't have to be sneaky about it because for better or worse, and we'll say worse, sentient intelligent constructs are not actually considered persons.
As we found out, yeah.
As you found out in
Mhm.
Waterdeep, it's actually considered, it's actually, property. It doesn't have any rights. It's like they didn't watch any of those episodes where this gets debated and solved in Star Trek. But to
So
be
did-
fair, Star Trek doesn't even watch that because,
True.
Data sets case law that then gets ignored.
It's like it's like Wizard of the Coast. I mean, bother to watch Westworld.
I know. So
So I say you bind it up and have the Grumble just carry it as crowd surfing to the.
Oh my god, that is just like a bunch of ants just carrying this thing. And well, should one of
Or
us
we can
go
just see if we can. I probably can get my hands on a cart real quick.
Oh, that's boring.
and pulled by the grumble?
Harness
Yeah.
them up.
There you go.
Oh my God.
It's a hand cart. They can push it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's funny. Yeah, well, do we all want to go, or just do we trust them to pick the magical item or non-magical item?
Might be interesting to see what they get.
I think it would be too.
Yeah.
For their efforts.
all right, so you're gonna send the Grumble alone to take it back to Valletta and to bring your stuff back.
The way you said that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a bad idea.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's the little
clarifying.
green guys.
I'm not opposed. I mean, we're gonna get the money, and they're gonna get a new toy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you? What if they break it?
We'll see how well mending does.
Like Ace Ventura with the UPS box, just kick it through the streets.
I mean,
All right.
Okay, yeah, maybe we should send. We should supervise them because it's gonna be like a carnival toy that breaks within the first 3 minutes of getting it out of the temple.
I mean, I wasn't even really giving them a lot of positive feedback last night, but their energy and exuberance knows no bounds. So if we give them a magical trinket,
We could split the party. That always works.
Oh, it has. It actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Indeed, I suspect my sister and I should pay the Blackstaff a visit.
Okay. Well, you guys want to do that, and the three of us will go with the grumble.
Yeah.
And we'll meet back
Yeah,
here for lunch.
Sure.
All
yeah.
right.
Do we have steak?
You totally have steak.
Okay, that's what I want for lunch.
All right.
All right, so you can
We'll
leave some of the
be
other
right on.
yeah. So you can leave some of the other goblins to start, prepping lunch. And I mean,
Your
you're an open and functioning tavern now, so
Oh right.
Yeah.
so you've got some staff. You've got some non-goblin staff as well, sort of like shift supervisors. But the goblins are really doing most of the work. The Grumble is on impeccable behavior. I mean, the Bros Feathers have instilled how you are supposed to behave in Waterdeep, and they're kind of wearing the Bros Feather colors, right, as part of their clothing.
They
and
are.
attire.
Yep.
So they're behaving themselves, marching along. Bent's in the lead because, of course, he is. and pushing everything through. Yeah, he's not pushing the cart. He's walking in front of the cart with his like wand, his new wand out, and like his spell book hanging prominently at a belt, and just like marching like he's a marshal on parade down the street.
The drum
definitely get some looks.
I'm gonna use prestidigitation on a couple members of the Grumble that are near me, and over by. Oh no, wait, I'm not with them. Fuck, never mind.
No, you can totally be with them.
You were going with them, weren't you?
Yeah.
I think just Frost Feathers weren't.
Yeah, the Frost Feathers
Well,
are
Oh,
going to
that's right.
go
Frost
to...
Feathers are going to the black stuff. We're going with the Grumble. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to use prestidigitation on as many of them as I can,
Mhm.
to change their colors from Frost Feathers to just like a rainbow of like pastel shades.
Perfect.
To just as
Oh no, you didn't!
much as possible for the Frost Feathers.
There we go.
It's a cantrip, so like I just imagine you
Yeah.
like casting it constantly and like rotating, so like their attire is like blinking back and forth between the colors, essentially.
It only lasts.
Blue, now blink, now blue.
It only lasts like an hour, so I'm occasionally like re-upping them as it runs out.
Perfect. All right, so you basically get to the House of Gond, or the Temple of Gond, House of Inspired Hands, and Valletta meets you. She is quite pleased with the fact that the Nimblewright is not functioning because it was a defective, improperly made construct, and she's shaking her head about Nim the whole time. But she nevertheless is, like, oh yes, as promised, and come in, and escorts you to a back office. She appears to let the Grumble just follow in. She doesn't have much of a problem. And then she's sort of quickly like counting out coins into a coin pouch, and hands over stacks a roll in front of you. It's 500 gold pieces, but she gives it to you in platinum, so it's like 50 platinum pieces, so it's easier to carry around, and slides it over and goes, yes, and selection. And so she puts out a couple of boxes and like lifts the lids and takes the items out and is giving you your choice. So the first is a set of adjustable stilts. They take a minute to put on or remove. They increase your height by 2 to 5 feet.
Okay.
So they can just like anywhere from
Interesting.
2 to 5 feet. They can increase your height when you're on.
Doc wants those.
They weigh 8 pounds and they're a foot long when they're collapsed. So they collapse down to like a set of like 1 foot long stilts. There is also a backpack which she demonstrates, and it's a backpack parachute. So any humanoid can wear it. And can deploy the parachute as a reaction while falling or as an action otherwise. It requires at least a 10-foot cube of unoccupied space, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't open fast enough for anything less than 60 feet, so you have to be falling from at least 60 feet or higher. If it has sufficient time and space to deploy properly, it allows you to land without taking falling damage. And then it's reusable once, like you can just... it is a parachute. It takes 10 minutes to repack it, but you can repack it. There is a metallic cube box that she calls a barking box. It's a 6 inches square cube with a crank on top, so it's kind of like a music box. Taking an action to wind the crank activates the box for 8 hours. While it is active, it barks whenever it detects vibrations within 15 feet. As long as the box and source of the vibrations are in contact with the same like ground or substance. So it sort of like gives it kind of like 15-foot tremor sense, and it'll just bark. A switch on one side of the box sets the device to emit either a small dog's bark or a large dog's bark.
Oh.
And the last one is a pipe. So it's a wooden smoking pipe, but there's a little switch on the inside with flint and steel. And just with a few flicks of the switch, the pipe lights itself. So you just pack it and like hit it on the side like a Bic lighter, and it lights up. So they're just all like simple little contraptions, but they're non-magical. They're kind of neat.
You know, maybe the box is a good idea in case someone tries to break into the tavern. One of us isn't there.
I think it would be a good one.
That in the cellar. That or the stilts. Help some of the grumble reach the higher shelves, and well, myself included. But
Yeah, I mean, we can just buy a ladder.
I guess.
But if are you feeling self-conscious about your height, Doc?
Oh, I got over that in my 80s.
That's what I
fine.
thought.
But, So 8 hours of barking. And did you say it can differentiate the vibrations, or just whenever it feels one?
Whenever it feels the vibrations, it'll bark. So the switch just changes it from either a small dog, sounding like a small dog, or sounding like a big dog.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not opposed to the barking box. Yeah, by the sewer door.
I think it would be a good addition.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like having a small alarm down there.
Yeah, that, or when we finally bed down for the night, put it at the top of the stairs or something.
Oh yeah.
I think we'll go with that then.
Yeah.
All right. Valletta is happy, and she like sort of puts everything else away. She packs it up in the box that she took it out of and hands it over. And she's basically just says, "I am so pleased you were able to take care of this problem for us. It would reflect poorly on the House of Gond if this Nimblewright had have created more havoc. And once again, my deepest apologies that you got caught up in all of this."
Well, it was unfortunate for those that we lost, but glad we were able to remedy this situation. And if it does help the cause, or it helps keep Nim occupied, there's several fine young upstarts in this group of Grumble here that would be happy to keep him company.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have a lack of volunteers for that one.
And she says, yes, I'd almost forgotten our previous discussion about your apprenticeship outreach program. I believe that we would be happy to take one or perhaps two at a time that we could apprentice here in the temple and bestow upon the blessings and divine insights of Gond.
Well, very good, very good. Well, no time like the present. Look for a volunteer.
There's like 12 hands shoot up. Actually 11, because Bent doesn't.
Right.
Bent's on his own path now.
Yeah, Ben's got his own thing going on.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
sort
trying
of
to find a list of our goblin names.
I thought that's in the spreadsheet, right? Or the directory?
No, I have some Grumble. I don't think I caught it from the previous chats, unfortunately. We got excited.
If any shout, any up, but yeah, you could pick sort of two random goblins.
I look at Doc and wait for him to make a
I think of
decision.
names is like, oh god.
Well, based on our current naming scheme, we have Bent. What was our guest lady goblin's name? I can't remember now.
Sorrel.
Sorrel.
And then we
nice
have
druid
Blank, which is the goblin engineer.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dank.
Bent.
And Dank. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the donut.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dank's
he's
back
on-
at the tavern because
Yeah.
Dank is on donut duty.
How about Norton?
Norton and Ted.
Norton? Yep, I like
Norton's
Norton.
head. No, make one of them a girl.
Oh, they're both girls. No, I don't know.
We name one Shmi.
There you go. Shmee,
Okay.
Norton and
Sure.
Shmee. Shmee is
Norton
Norton
and
and
Shmee.
Yeah, there
It
we
is
go.
canon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shmee
Shmee
is
is
like-
a girl.
Shmee is short for Shmeela.
Shmeela. Yeah, but she goes by Shmee. I imagine that Norden is like kind of tall for a goblin, like, and lanky, so he's a bit
Yes.
taller than the rest of the Grumble.
He's also
and-
got one slightly bent ear compared to everybody else too, so it's kind of like bent a little bit more.
yeah.
And I think Shmee has a face like a pug, like a flat nose and like big like eyes.
Real
you know?
big eyes.
Yeah.
All I can think of is Smee from Hook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Shmee.
Yeah.
Shmee's me.
Yeah, so she's a little short, she's a little bit like rounder, she's kind of soft.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Good
So
Good job.
so two of the goblins are basically join as apprentices in the House of Gone.
Awesome.
And you'll pick up just two more random goblins to the Grumble always has to be 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's a unit of
Yeah.
measurement.
Yeah. It's a collective noun,
Like a
it's a
mole.
unit of measure.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So you'll gather up and make your way back. So at Blackstaff Tower, the siblings Brosfeather are welcomed into Blackstaff Tower. So the familiar sort of the iron gates kind of like unfold themselves to allow you on this path that sort of just flickers into existence ahead of you. And the door sort of swings open of its own accord. A ghostly figure sort of materializes and takes you upstairs once again to the Blackstaff's room, where you just have to wait a few moments. You sort of get that impression of like you're left to wait, maybe 5 minutes longer than really necessary before the Blackstaff comes in. But once again, she's looking totally put together and practical. She's got like leather breeches, like a sturdy leather coat. Pockets are bulging. Her hair is like well coiffed, and of course she has the eponymous black staff clutched in her hand as she sort of strides in and nods. Crossfeathers, I am glad to see you again. I hope that Cleo has provided some assistance to you recently.
Indeed, that is one reason we are making an appearance here, to thank you for your assistance through Cleo of several items that came up while he was assisting us. He proved most beneficial.
Good, I am glad. So you said one of the things that brought you here. Tell me, what can I do for you?
I also did want to report back personally on our investigation in the harbor. I assume Cleo told you what we found there,
Yes,
And
and
what
I am
transpired.
indeed, and I am glad that you looked after that for us and have determined that he's not a threat.
Indeed, I do not believe that will be a problem.
Nor do I.
My sister and I are also wondering if we may inquire as to other family members.
Yes. I was, to be honest, surprised that you had not asked me sooner after being here the first time.
It was not our place to at the time.
I understand.
We thought the information was something that had to be earned. By the way, I really like your outfit. I just have to say that.
Why, thank you. And she smiles, and of course, I mean, I guess she is quite a bit older than Emmeline, but it's like us talking to a teenager, because despite her elevated position, she's essentially in her like mid-30s. She's the youngest person to ever claim the position of Blackstaff. Yeah, she's a rockin' it. She's clearly slick AF. So she nods in appreciation and says, "Yes, obviously the matter is always somewhat delicate, and I am afraid that I cannot necessarily tell you everything, but I do understand that this is troubling for your family. Your brother, of course, had been working with us and the Greyhands, and most recently he had been tasked on investigating some troubling issues arising out of Skullport and Undermountain. So he and a team of Greyhands were sent down to Skullport and to find out what they could. Under, shall we say, a little bit of deep cover. Unfortunately, we lost contact with them some weeks ago and have not yet heard back.
So he's not necessarily dead.
We have not received any word that neither he nor any of the rest of his team that he was a part of are dead. Of course, it being Skullport and Undermountain, we would not necessarily expect to hear word back. But
Anyone looking for him? Did you send a
Yes.
search party?
Well, the nature of Skullport and Undermountain, we can't exactly just send in a search party, but we are in preparations of sending more agents and seeing what they can determine.
Can messages be sent down there? I mean, I have this paper that I can make into a message, one of those messenger bird things.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
have you tried sending a message?
We have our standard means of communication via magical means are not inconsiderable, but you can imagine, again, given the nature of Skullport and Undermountain, that some individuals take means of safeguarding against such effects. Furthermore, we were concerned that we did not want to blow anyone's cover. The team was expected to maintain a certain level of anonymity. But they did miss their last check-in time.
Well, we have to find him.
You said you were organizing a party to go after him?
Yes. We needed to find the right individuals. As you can imagine, we were trying to send your brother and others down with some degree of cover so they could not be linked back to us and to the city authorities. So it pays when we have people that we can either create entirely fictitious identities for, or people who have somewhat, shall we say, checkered backgrounds of their own.
We know many such people.
She kind of quirks her lips in a bit of a smile at that and says, I was going to suggest that over the last several weeks, you have been making somewhat of a name for yourself in this regard.
Indeed.
It's rather new for me. But I would like to find my brother. If you send a party to find him, I'd like to go.
Any party must include a brass feather.
Well, I can certainly do that. But I would have to ask in return that anyone who was joining would have to formally join the Greyhands.
I would do this thing to find my brother.
Good. Well, I will keep you informed of our progress. I expect that within a week or so we should be ready.
Good to know.
All right. Well, please, as I said, I will be in touch, and if you have further need, you know how to reach me.
Indeed, we do. Thank you for your time.
I wish you well, and I will add this fortune that you are on the path of rightfully belongs to the city of Waterdeep.
Indeed, it does.
Remember your duty.
Of course.
And she steps back.
We will remember services rendered.
Of course.
We'll
All
leave.
right. Yep. All right. So, on that cheery note, we reconvene for a fabulous lunch as you are greeted with steak and ale and various other, breads and meats and cheeses and hardly any vegetables. Well, actually, no, maybe it's autumn time. The harvest has come, so you're probably
We should have some vegetables
on stuff that's not going to last.
Some
So,
good root vegetables, squashes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Gourds
that's
or
right.
whatever.
And all right. So, what are you guys going to do? You're now 500 gold pieces richer. You've got a bargain box, and you essentially have a treasure map with quite literally X marks the spot.
Sounds like something we ordered for the dog.
Bargain box, yeah.
Yeah, well, that is a subscription, one of those monthly subscription boxes.
Bark box.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does that count as product placement? Do we get some?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
should.
I wish. Bark box. When you've got a dog, you need to keep entertained. The bark box.
All right, Cindy, it's set to big dog.
Oh dear.
Well,
All right.
we do need to check in with Vincent. Unless we've already talked to him and let him know that the Nimble Right found us.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's one of the things, you can send word or talk to him.
Okay.
And he's okay with canceling it, but he would still insist on because I think you did have to pay him the half up front on retainer, and he ain't gonna give that back because
No.
that's not
absolutely.
how retainers work.
Oh, yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah,
Vincent's
but
our PI, right?
Correct.
That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah, but he's happy to cancel the remainder of the contract and leave it at that, and he's totally fine with that.
Okay, we'll give him a dozen donuts for his troubles.
Oh yes,
Baker's dozen.
gratefully accepts those.
Yeah, Becky, give him one that extra one. So.
Good neighborly vibes all around.
Right.
That's right.
I'm going to eat my delicious steak and carrots, potatoes and onions lunch. It looks like a dinner. It doesn't look like a lunch at all, but it's totally like hangover food.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like head off into like that. It's so funny when I think about our little tavern. I think about the build I did in The Sims. That's how I imagine it. So it feels like it's like intimate knowledge. It feels like, but I know that it's not like an exact floor plan. Anyways, there is that turret little
That's right.
other entrance, and I'm gonna like call the grumble over to me.
Okay.
In that little kind of round area.
Yep.
Provided there's like not customers and stuff over there.
Nope.
That's right. Well, it's the middle of the day. You're a new tavern. This is like day 2, so
Yeah, that's fair.
you probably you've got like some of your neighbors like Balla's like having some lunch and Tally basically being good business neighbors themselves and that kind of thing. But otherwise, it's pretty quiet.
Oh, I wish
Are
I
the
wasn't-
Bros feathers back yet?
Yes,
To the
yeah.
tavern?
You guys are all like you guys sort of arrive back at about the same time.
So, as they get back, Emily goes and finds Dahlia with her hangover and forgets that she has a hangover and gets right in her face. Guess what? My brother's alive! I'm gonna find him!
Oh,
Wow.
Not the one you know. He's boring. The other one.
What was that?
Now, boo.
Oh.
Just
It's fine.
bring it.
Calm down.
My ears definitely still work. You can speak normally. And
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're still doing it. I need you to.
Your steak looks delicious.
Yeah, I've kind of lost my appetite now. You can have the rest of it if you want. Yeah, great. That's and I'm like drawn deep for this conversation. And
Lord, give me patience.
and I kind of look down at my hands and swallow and nod. Emmeline, that's actually really good news. So, yeah, it doesn't look like it, but I am excited for you.
I go now.
Okay. Let's talk about this more maybe later. I actually would like to hear more about it. Thanks. And that's when I get up and I assemble the grumble in that front turret area.
Yeah.
And once
I'm picturing Dahlia standing in the middle and them all like cross-legged on the floor around you, like elementary
Like story
school kids
hour.
around the teacher.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, and keep in mind that like Dahlia is like 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of this. If any time grumbles assemble. Yeah, I just imagine they're like this. Oh my god, I just saw Dan's a little. Anyways,
That's what they're doing.
so I'm kind of like taken aback by the sudden like attentiveness, but you know, what else can you expect from them? And I'm gonna kneel down, and I'm gonna put like a hand on one of their shoulders, and like on the other. Realize this isn't working, and put my hands on my lap. And I'm going to say to them, I know I've been not super cheerful lately, and I just want to say thank you for visiting me last night and trying to cheer me up and bringing me maybe a little too much alcohol, but that's my fault. You're all super great, and I'm glad you're here. And even though I've got, something to be sad about, you're actually kind of cheering me up. So I just want to say thank you.
The grumble sits there like looking quite like rapt and attentive as you keep talking. And you can see their eyes are like kind of big, right, as they're absorbing it in. And then like sort of at the end, when you say like basically like that they're doing a good job, they slowly break into like big goblin grins with, their fang teeth, but like, big wide smiles. Their jaw takes up like the lower third of their face, basically.
Some big Cheshire Cat smile.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a Kodak moment.
And then they swarm you with hugs.
Yeah, and I open my arms and I imagine that it's like a dog pile. And it's like...
Yeah, you sort of get bowled over, and then it's like a puppy pile on top of like the puppy's on top of like the parent dog, hugging you. And Bent says, "It's okay to be sad, Dahlia. That's okay. We're your friends."
Thanks, Bent. And I give him like
Ruffles head.
Noogie. The noogie.
Yeah.
His ears like flop like when you do it to like a puppy.
Yeah.
It's like they get big floppy ears.
After all of that, and I think it's probably not very like it's not like when I'm talking to them, I'm trying to keep it like hush hush.
Yeah.
But then there's like noise,
Yeah, like no one would have heard anything, but when they look over, they see like the dog pile of the grumble.
The gob pile.
The gob pile. That's right.
Love it.
After we've spent a moment, big group hug, I look out at all of them and say, well, here's something that'll cheer me up even more, and that I want to do for you guys.
They look excited.
I have a lot of... I'm from not here. I'm from a place called the Feywild. There's a lot of really neat and interesting things in the Feywild. Do you guys want to hear about them? Yeah. All right. Come on, let's go. And I'm going to lead them over to the fireplace and look out at, whatever small group is here eating and saying, and I clap my hands together and I say, what the hell's the name of our...
AD&D.
Autumn drafts and donuts.
Yes, thank you. And I say, thank you all for your patronage at our new establishment. My name is Dahlia. I am the resident storyteller and Bardic Entertainment. You've come at just the right time for Tales from the Feywild. And I start just, talking about my experiences in the Feywild and other things.
Emmeline grabs a sandwich and she comes over to the fire and sits next to one of the grumble, and she's just like,
yeah, because in a land with magic, this is still like fairy tale kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, like quite literally.
Yeah.
and they're not like rated G stories.
No.
They are like rated R.
Emmeline's getting closer.
Yeah. Some of the grumble are like look at you with like rapt attention, occasionally shift somewhat uncomfortably, but then they're like glued.
And then we were all naked, running through a field of Technicolor. And it just like goes on.
Patrons,
Can I go there with Edwin?
I think Fala seems particularly rapt and attentive.
Yeah, I try to make eye contact with Fala a couple times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you definitely do. She's paying close attention. Great. Or they are paying. Sorry, they.
Yeah, I was like, aren't they? Isn't that their pronouns?
Yep. Yep. Totally just slipped on that. My apologies.
That's okay. Yeah, that's what I do. That's my thing.
Yep. All right. Excellent. All right. So it is quite an entertaining sort of early afternoon at AD&D. All right. So you guys got a map.
Okay.
So during all this, I will find Doc and Sticks if he's around and sit down with him. So what do you think of this map that we got? It seems a little too obvious to me.
Agreed. I would suggest we check it out, but we might do a couple laps and keep an eye on it, high alert, see what's going on instead of going in swinging.
I would agree. I think something's up there.
Just checking it out.
Yeah, it might not be the worst if we happen to grab dinner over there in that part of town tonight. Maybe
I do not believe I've made an appearance in that part of town for quite some time.
you and me both. Maybe it's time we make an appearance, and then maybe at first light, or if hopefully nothing happens before dinner, but hopefully we'll have a better idea, and then maybe hit it during daylight. And so
yeah, that sounds reasonable.
We may need to after that last battle with the Nimble Right, we may need to start utilizing the guard a little bit more than we have been, and we'll give you a heads up, Sticks. Don't worry.
Yes.
So, but I think we have a lead. Might as well follow it.
Let's follow this lead and see where it goes. I mean, what's the worst,
Yeah, What is the worst? Do I need should I bring the big guns with me this time instead of like the little hammer?
I think we better be prepared this time.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm
All
fully
right.
ready.
Yeah. And then
So to make sure I'm understanding this map with the X is supposed to mark the spot where the heist is, or the hoard is, I should say.
No, from what you understood, it's where the Nimblewright was directed to go from Growlhund Manor.
Gotcha.
with the Stone of Golorr.
Gotcha. And we have the stone, right?
No.
not yet.
We don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we know that the stone is a key to
Gotcha.
finding it.
Okay.
What time of night or what time of the day is it now?
It's like mid-afternoon or early afternoon, sorry.
Would I have enough time to stop by and like buy a set of chainmail?
Yeah,
the
I mean,
neighbors.
yeah, absolutely. There is you have an armor smith right on your street.
Okay. I'm gonna stop by and pick up a set of chainmail because if we're going into something, I may need something a little bit more than my leather.
Okay.
So,
So let me just double check the price. And chainmail is 75 gold pieces.
okay, I think we can handle that. Can I borrow from the coffer of all of us for that one?
Yeah. No, this
Well,
is
yeah, so I mean, you just get paid 500 gold.
Yeah.
So if assuming that you just divided that up, 100 apiece.
I'd like to talk to Thalia too to see if they have any healing potions and water breathing potions.
All right. Thank you for the host, Health Pack Streaming. And of course, thanks for joining us. We chat on Twitter all the time. All right. Let me just check this for you. Find the right section because there's a list here, I believe, of what they have and sell. Oh yeah, so Avi is the armor smith.
Okay.
And he is the water genasi. Bronze crown. Fala has. So the potions that Fala has routinely, they have a potion of animal friendship, potion of climbing, potion of healing. They've got the base version and the greater healing, and a potion of water breathing. So that is what they sort of make and have on stock. They could potentially, make something else, but the bulk of other things they sell is non-magical herbal, like remedies and stuff. You get an upset tummy. And
Doc, do you need any medical bandages, anything like that? Restock?
well, thanks to the Apothecary Guild, I'm good on a med kit right now. But if since we're not quite sure what's going on, what we're getting ourselves into, I could pick up a
I'm
potion of greater
thinking
healing or something else
Yeah.
rather to be prepared. So
I'm thinking we should each have one of those, whatever we end up doing.
and
All right.
what do those run?
So regular potions of healing are 50 gold pieces. I will have one of you roll me a d6.
I'll roll up.
Okay.
2.
So they have 2 in stock.
All right. Sounds like we got 2, and we got 9 charges on the med kit, so we're still doing all right. And I have
Okay.
healing word ready. So
Can we buy anything that allows temporary invisibility?
You don't. Well, it is possible in the city of Waterdeep. There's potions of invisibility, things like that. They would be extremely expensive.
They wouldn't allow us to charge it to our family?
No.
Okay.
Because even that would be like exorbitant, even for your family. It would be something on the order. Greater healing potions 250. So like a potion of invisibility would run 400 or 500 gold pieces, which even for a wealthy noble family is a lot.
Never mind.
Yeah, the only other would be like a scroll of invisibility, which sometimes would be cheaper. I don't think that Bookworms has it. No, they do. So, you could get a scroll of invisibility from Bookworms, so the bookshop that is also on your street, and that's 75 gold pieces. The question would be who among you could actually
do the spell.
To cast it?
Not me. Doc?
Dahlia could. Dahlia could cast it.
It's invisibility?
Yeah. It's on the bard list.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a bard
She
spell.
can. Okay.
So you're wanting to get a spell scroll that has invisibility?
No, just a thought.
Oh, okay.
And what missed the list of the potions. I heard climbing and water breathing and the greater healing and base
animal
healing.
friendship.
Oh. We got goblins. We don't need animal friendship.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk to rats.
Water breathing would be helpful if we want to visit the dragon again.
Yeah, it's 250 gold pieces.
So, what do we think we're going to run into at this X marks the spot?
Well, ain't nothing good if it has to deal with this gem. I mean,
And it's in an alley? It's an X that's in an alley?
Yes, so the X was marked in the alley with the name Fenerus Stormcastle beside it. And it's an alley in the trades ward. We said we did figure out sort of last time exactly what 2 streets it was between. Right. It's kind of near.
So Dahlia asks the group, has no one's been to the alley?
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet. We were.
You got it
just
like
discussing
late last night.
Yeah, we were just discussing maybe having dinner over there and just kind of getting a better lay of the land. So when we do decide to act, we kind of have an idea of what we're at least getting ourselves into.
Okay, because it feels like all these preparations that we're preparing for war, and obviously you don't want to go into war blindly, so.
We don't know what we're preparing for, so we're preparing for the worst.
I would say we're preparing to live after this. We don't want to risk anything more than we have to.
Isn't the Summer's Night in the Trades Ward?
I believe so. That's what we said, wasn't it? That it was
Yeah.
in the trades ward?
Yeah. And it was like north, like closer where the crossroads are.
Yeah. North Ward and then Trades Ward.
Trades Ward is in the southeast.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it in my head. It's the high. Is it the high road that goes down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually, the Trades Ward does like a little L because it kind of like.
Yeah. Right.
It runs on the other side of the high road from the Castle Ward and sort of wraps around the City of the Dead, but the bulk of the Trades Ward is down towards the Southern Ward and the Dock Ward.
Is this alley by the Summer's Night?
What street or vicinity did we put Summer's Night?
We put
Remember?
it close to where the high road and that other major east-west avenue runs.
Waterdeep Way, or
It's the one that it's like the next. It's like the only. To me, it was like the one. I don't have the map pulled up, but it runs into City of the Dead.
oh yeah, so there's
Like a little-
Trader's Way, kind of comes in and then turns into another street that goes in. There's a couple of streets that go into the City of the Dead.
All right, let's see. Do we have the map pinned somewhere? That fancy.
It was somewhere near there because that's why I was
Probably.
hanging
Yeah.
out.
So
Yeah.
so the answer would be no. The alley is more down in that main section, like where the high road kind of kinks and keeps going down.
Okay.
I believe I had said it was actually sort of near Caravan's Court, which is out, like towards the walls of the city.
Mm-hmm.
If we want some intel before we get involved ourselves, Emmeline could send Edwin a message and ask him to send people to check it out and tell us what's there.
There's that. We have the goblins and
Or send the grumble.
the grumble.
Gremlin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got intel, and then so I'd say we go ahead and start moving.
Yeah.
Start rallying the troops.
So we head on and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're making your way into the trades wards and getting near the alley. So then what's your plan?
I am going to cast Disguise Self and make myself look like just a non-noble Waterdeepian resident, just so I don't draw attention to myself.
Well, and I don't think Emmeline looks too remarkable either. She's just in leggings and a tunic or whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my. I've forgotten everything. Good lord. My fabric of many fashions. I'm gonna use that to turn it again into like a headscarf thing, just to conceal. I don't expect anyone to recognize me because I don't usually present in this way. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm still gonna try and like hide my hair and make like a little cowl and whole thing.
When you're styling your fabric and sort of, it's kind of like you unfold it and like refold it, sort of like origami it, and it, changes form and stuff. As you're doing that, your hand sort of briefly almost like runs across something stuck to it. When you're folding it and you like look because it shouldn't be there, and you see a little tag attached to the fabric that says property of Theron, but as your hand brushes against it, it sort of like dissolves into smoke and just disappears.
Wow.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I just blink a lot. Like
It happened so quickly that you almost can't tell whether you really saw it or not because it happened really quickly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Are we actually approaching? Are we going down the alley?
Well, so I'm giving you the opportunity to tell me what you're going to do before I just say you're in the alley in case you had other
Okay, so I
questions.
mean, if we're approaching, Emmeline's going to try and get up high again and be on rooftops.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we were gonna try to just like low key look around. But
Still
yeah.
might be good to have an eye.
Oh, for sure. So I will say, probably we're used to her going high, and so I'll go ahead and cast that enhance ability on you with the Cat's Grace. So
Okay.
advantage on dexterity checks and doesn't take damage from falling 20 feet or less.
Nice.
Thanks. Actually, I have a slow fall thing now too, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, okay.
All right.
Or do you think that like the owl's wisdom or perception checks would help?
I mean, perception's always good if we're trying to figure out what's going on.
I mean,
right?
you're pretty high on dex.
Yeah.
Normally, right?
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that for the Owl's Wisdom, the advantage on wisdom checks then.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good if I'm trying to see what's going on from up there.
Cool. Yeah, we're casually going for a stroll, looking for a place to eat.
That's it.
Okay. So I mean, the alley sort of cuts between streets. All that's really in it, there's like the backs of some buildings. And you know, when you kind of wander into one of the entrances and look down, and you know, things are lit and everything. There is a store that sells locks and keys, and it abuts this house. And the house is the only other building that like faces onto the alley. You presume from where the X was marked that that's the house.
What's on the roof?
So from where you are up, you know, surveying across, you don't see anything on any of the rooftops. It's just a regular sort of peaked roof. The rest of you, who enters the alley?
I went in first.
Yeah, I'll go in behind Sticks.
Is there anyone around? Can I see neighboring streets?
There's neighboring streets. They've got like markets. There's commerce going on. All of what you would expect.
Yeah, because this is what, afternoon, evening time, and right?
Yeah, I assume you waited until like evening-ish.
Right,
by the time
right.
you finished all your preparations.
Yeah, Doc will be in the back, like
So-
almost still in the street.
So the entrance to this house is in the alley.
Yes.
I'm gonna like put my hands out before everyone starts going in there and say, hold on a second. Are we meaning to knock on the front door? Emily, and are you gonna try and break in from the rooftop? Are we just walking by? What's the plan of action here?
I say we walk by first and then come back and knock on the front door.
If anyone's gonna knock on the front door, it should be me.
I think I need to go buy a new lock for AD&D.
Oh, that's right. It's a store. Derp.
Well, no, there's a store, and then the house is like next door to it.
But it doesn't hurt to, like, if we're in that area, to see if there's any comings and goings. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
But
I
can
see
do
where you're
that
going with
from
that,
the roof.
because no one goes in and out of the house, but they're buying locks.
Right.
All right.
So why don't I just be your guard from up on the roof, and if someone weird is coming, be like, caw.
All right. So as you guys step into the alley, quite a cold wind blows in, one of these autumn winds that kind of rips through Waterdeep. It's quite loud, sort of the leaves and everything swirl around you. It's hard to hear. It's almost, you know, gale force wind. You have to lean against it a little bit to walk down the alley. And as you step through, you just barely hear this, like, look out, that kind of carries over the wind. And as you kind of turn, you see from the opposite entrance this apple cart bouncing down the street with 3 small figures perched on top.
Are they
Or, like,
freaking goblins?
No, they appear to be children.
Okay.
From the distance, you can see one is sort of tall and lanky, and sort of waving about this little toy sword. There is a smaller, kind of chubbier kid, who has like a cloak you can see sort of rippling out behind them, and is like carrying something in their hands. But again, it's sort of, you know, you're only catching this quickly. And there's a small boy that you actually quickly recognize as a tiefling. He's got little horns poking out. He's got a little toy bow on his back. And this like bounces right towards you. I need you guys to make a dexterity saving throw.
So I actually, as Doc, I want to like just plant firmly and like pull the shield and just stand ground.
All right. So I will have you give me a strength saving throw at disadvantage. But you're going to give everyone else advantage on their dex saves.
Oh,
If nothing else, just trying to stop this car.
Yeah, so I will try to jump down into the side of the alley away from the cart. That's
Okay.
a certain.
yeah, I would
Okay.
try to avoid it as well.
Well,
I
I'm gonna
rolled
attack-
10 plus 2, so 12.
Okay. So the cart cracks into you and runs you over.
Oh no!
This is a bigger cart than I thought. Never mind.
It's an apple cart.
He said apple cart, so I was
Looks
like,
like
you
one of
did
those like
apple
merchant
cart.
carts. Yeah. Dahlia, what was your dex save?
20.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
20.
20. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
All right. And Sticks?
all right, you said with advantage. Well, doesn't matter. 11.
Okay. So you guys managed to tumble out of the way, but Doc gets run over. You take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And are knocked prone, and then the cart keeps rolling down the alley as everyone else dives. But then it flips on its side, and like apples go tumbling across the alley. And like the kids basically like are gathering up apples. It's pretty quick to see that they're kind of in ratty, dirty, tattered clothing. Like they look like street kids. And they like gather up the apples. The girl, who's actually waving the sword around, moves her hand in like a sequence of signs, and the smaller sort of chubby kid, who's actually carrying an owlbear stuffy and a toy wand with him, just yells back over his shoulder and says, "Sorry!" And they like kind of like dart into sort of the shadows of the alley somewhere, like hauling apples with them.
I'm chasing him.
I just watched Thaddeus like
I froze again.
So they look kind of scared a little bit as you're chasing after them, Thaddeus. What's your intention? Thaddeus?
yeah. Houston checking into Thaddeus.
Thaddeus, what's your intention? They look kind of scared as you start chasing after them.
Yeah, I just want to catch them, and if I can catch them, just say, "Where were you coming from?"
Make a persuasion check.
13.
Okay. They just say, "Just the market street the next over. You're not going to take us in, are you?"
Oh, why would we do that? You weren't doing nothing wrong, were you?
Well, it depends
Nobles
how
don't
you
use
think we
double
got
negatives.
how we got these apples.
Oh yeah, all right.
Look, it's fine. Just, do you know this area?
Yeah? What you want to know?
My friends and I are kind of curious about it. Would you mind talking to us? We could pay you for some of your trouble.
And so the girl, who's a little bit taller, she looks a little bit older than the other two, and the tiefling boy sort of exchange glances. The timid boy kind of holds back. The tiefling boy kind of steps forward towards you, like his chest puffed out a little bit, and just says, "Right then, you got the money." Sort of like sticks his hands out.
I'll take 3 gold pieces out, one for each of them, and give them one.
Their eyes go wide. Because this is like, they would live off of coppers. And like the gold disappears in a flash, like as it's, squirreled away. And the girl, again, signs, sort of makes gestures in a series of like sign language that you don't understand to the other two. And the tiefling boy sort of again just says, "Right then, so what you want to know?"
I'll come over and talk to my friends with me.
All right, your goal. And they
So
come over,
I take them back and say,
munching on
I think
apples.
we have some new friends here.
Thaddeus.
Emmeline's just on the roof.
Well, good to hear. you kids all right?
I kind of start dusting Doc off a little bit after he's been knocked flat.
How old are these
You gotta
kids?
quit stepping in front of carts like that. You're gonna get yourself killed.
Well, I either get hit dodging or I get hit standing, so I might as well stand this time.
I don't know.
That's making certain sense, Doc.
Anyway, the kids
I'm up
all look to
here.
be between the ages of about 8 to 10.
I look at Thaddeus and shake my head, gesture at them. They're children. What do you...
They're children that know the Sally.
They'll tell you anything for coin.
You call me
I-
a liar, meh?
Look at them and say, now you wouldn't be lying to us, would you?
Of course not, sirs.
I just squint at Thaddeus. Are you trying to intimidate them now too? And I look at the kids and say, what did he say?
He said he just gave us a gold coin and said he wanted us to talk to you. I figure as long as he don't do nothing shady.
All
So,
right.
so what do you want? What do you want to know?
How often do you see this area?
Every day?
Tell me about the house over here.
That house? Oh, big scarred man lives there.
What did they say? Big scarred man?
Yeah. Got scars all over his face. Big
I'm
man.
gonna be watching them to see if they appear to be, telling the truth or just telling us whatever we want to hear.
So,
Emmeline calls down from the roof. What kind of scars?
They kind of like look up. Looks like he fights a lot.
does he have friends over a lot?
No, he lives alone, as far as I know. A little bit of gray in his hair and scars on his face.
So kind of keeps to
big-
himself then?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a lamplighter.
Oh, okay. Very
Oh.
noble profession.
Is
Kid
he?
sort of shrugs.
How big of a man is he?
Oh, kind of like looks you up and down. A little bit bigger than you. He sort of points between Thaddeus and Styx. About your size.
I'm gonna kneel down in front of him. Did you say he's human?
Yeah.
Okay. And how busy is this Locks building? That's right over here.
Oh, he
Locks and keys.
yeah, we don't loiter around too much. He doesn't like us snooping around.
Yeah, he has a lot of business.
Okay, I guess.
Have you seen anybody unusual lately come by?
Well, I did. And he starts to talk, and the older girl sort of like elbows him and like signs something. And he goes, "No, that was stupid. Thought I saw something, but
Which one has the little toy bow?
the tiefling, the one who's been talking to
Toy
you.
boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat.
No, toy bow,
Bow.
bow and arrow.
So after our talk, I was fully prepared, so I had my longbow. So I take it off and kind of show it to him and say, "Do you want to try shooting this?"
So it'd be like twice his height.
Yeah, yeah.
Emmeline recedes further along the
And I mean, he would agree,
Can't
but like
hear.
you would basically have to like just put his hands on and like act
Exactly. That's what
right?
I was planning on
Yeah,
doing with him.
yeah.
Just
So
to
yeah,
try
so
to get
yeah, so he'd open up a little bit, and basically what he would tell you is that he thought that he saw a dwarf, and he points at Doc, but with sort of gray skin and bald with a white beard, but then he disappeared.
Disappeared.
Oh,
Just vanished.
just was he carrying anything, or just him, or?
And he just shrugs. He doesn't
Okay.
really know.
No, that's very helpful. Very helpful.
Do people come out of the shop with parcels? Aren't they going in to buy stuff?
You haven't seen anybody go into the lock and key store.
Yeah, they haven't been watching that. Interesting.
Okay. Well, very good. Very good.
Well, tell you what, if we come by here again, could you tell us if you see anybody else strange?
And he just says, "Sure, we're just gonna hang around. Paid gold, suppose."
Yeah.
I just kind of look over all of them and say, "Looks like you can do a good job protecting yourself. You're doing well."
Thank you.
Do they want some soap?
They like all wrinkle their nose.
Not everybody needs soap.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I can't smell them up here.
So just we have the grumble with us, right? Or was that grumble around, or did they come?
Yeah,
with?
they're yeah.
I imagine we
Okay.
usually
They
have
sort of
some.
melt into the shadows.
Are they
Okay.
just
Good
an
at hiding.
entourage we always have?
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
You can,
So
you can sort of invoke them periodically, but
Yeah.
otherwise they kind of
So,
hide in the
we
shadows.
might just have our new kid friends hang out with the. Like, well, you know what? Just so you guys have some friends around, and maybe bring over a couple of the signal for them to come over. The goblins,
Right.
Was it Snot and Fumbus? Snot and Fumbus come over and introduce themselves and like, okay, well, if you guys want to just stay here, we're going to we'll be a minute, but so.
All right.
Now, do we want to try to do, like, some of us go into the lock shop, others watch the door?
They're like right next to each other. You basically have to
Oh.
walk by the house to go into the lock shop.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought they were like back to back. Okay.
No, they abut one another side by side in the alley.
Gotcha. Okay, like a strip mall type thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Zero lot line.
Okay.
I still think it would be reasonable to check out the lock shop.
Should all of us go in, or
I'm gonna stay up on the roof for now.
I'm just gonna hang out beside the door and let them go in the lock shop and kind of keep an eye on the house itself.
Okay.
That works. Yeah, I'll go in.
All right. Thaddeus and Dahlia.
I'll keep looking around the streets and see if anything unusual is happening or if it's just market business.
Yeah, it seems pretty routine.
is Thaddeus going in as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pal on in with him, hang out in the back.
So as you guys approach the lock shop, Dahlia, because you guys have to sort of pass the house a little bit, and
Mhm.
Dahlia has the highest passive perception.
Mhm.
As you're wandering by, you notice that the front door of the house is not actually closed. Like, it's not obviously open, but you can just tell, and there's no light or anything shining, but you can tell it's slightly ajar. Like, basically like someone had turned the knob and it popped open a little bit, or as if someone had closed the door and it didn't firmly close.
I'm going to
And the house is
Wordless.
dark. There's no
No.
lights coming out of it.
I'm gonna wordlessly mouth to Doc and Thaddeus, like, to keep going.
Mm.
Like, I'm gonna gesture at the door, tell you two to keep going, and I'm gonna try to be sneaky and like put an ear up to the door where the crack is, see if I can
Okay.
hear anything.
Okay, give me a perception check. It is deadly quiet. There is not a single sound coming from inside the house.
Can I see like through the crack?
No, it's like basically just like you still can just see the door jam. You would have to
It's like the door
press it
dip
open.
latch, but it's
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the windows and stuff are drawn, or the curtains are drawn, or whatever.
So the where you can see curtains, they're kind of drawn, but there are gaps. So if there was light from inside, you would see it, and you don't see anything.
I have
It's
dark
totally
vision, 60 feet.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, if there was light, you would see it. And give me another perception check, looking in through the window.
Oh man, not as good. 14.
Okay, so the glass isn't great. It's kind of like bubbled and warped and stuff like that. It's not like a nice pane of glass like we have. But from what you can see, the inside is a disaster.
I just sigh, like, not this again. Another house that's just turned upside down.
It looks like it's been ransacked.
And
Oh, no.
I'm
You
just
can see
gonna,
furniture overturned.
I'm just gonna look at Doc and Thaddeus, up at Emmeline, kind of, gesture my head towards the door, and I'm just gonna push it wide open.
And so the door swings open on sort of a sitting room where, like, chairs are overturned. Anything where there were drawers, the drawers are pulled out.
Okay.
yeah. So I'm going
Yeah,
in.
we're going in and kind of like ask this information on the sticks, more like just a sigh and just we're going in.
Why don't you guys go in, and I'm gonna go talk to the store next door. There's no way that this went down in silence unless it was magical interference.
I'm going to hang out on the roof and keep watch.
And I'm
Okay.
gonna go into the lock store.
Okay.
Okay.
So you do, and of course, like, the buildings are sort of like stone walls here, so they would offer a fair amount of sound insulation.
Mhm.
But when you, like, push open the locked door, it hits a chime, right? Dings, like, the bell rings as you open it. And there is this super old gnome in behind a counter that's full of, like, keys and locks and stuff. And, like, a very old gnome. And he's, like, sitting on this high stool up above the counter, and he is sound asleep at the moment.
I'm gonna go knock on the counter.
Yes?
You were asleep, and this is your store.
What
You
can
wouldn't-
I do for you?
You wouldn't want to be robbed. So
But
I wanted to.
You would... I've been robbed?
No. I'm saying you wouldn't want to be robbed. You probably shouldn't just fall asleep right here like that unless you don't get a lot of business. Do you not get a lot of business? Is it pretty quiet around here that you can just fall asleep like that?
Yes. I must have just rested my eyes for a minute.
Okay. I just kind of look at the counter, shake my head wide-eyed, like, okay then.
There's like dust on stuff. Doesn't look like it's a very busy shop.
How long have you been in business here?
Oh, 100 years?
Wow. That's an amazing amount of time. My name's Dahlia, by the way. Actually, I don't say that. Sorry. I actually don't say Dahlia. Whoops. Yeah, not giving out that name. I say my name is Silpana. I hold my hand to shake.
Puts his hand up. I mean, he's like 2 feet tall. He reaches over and, like, sort of shakes. He goes, my name is Zolor Brumblefoot.
That is a proud name. I am just passing through Waterdeep and trying to document some of the more interesting businesses. and I saw yours here and wanted to stop in, and I think I found a great one, especially if you've been here for 100 years. What's it been like, the past month or so that you've been here?
About the same it's been the last decade or so. Too quiet.
Do you have any interesting neighbors or anything interesting going on in this alley?
Lamplighter lives next door, keeps to himself. A bit of a rough-looking man. Don't really talk to him. Not particularly friendly.
Okay.
Busier out on the street, but higher rent.
Anything else interesting about him?
I haven't really had occasion to talk to the man.
Just kind of looking around and like wrap my fingers on my arms impatiently, like this is the damn dead end. Well, let me go talk to him myself and say that it's on your recommendation. Thanks for your time, Mr. Brumblefoot.
You're welcome.
And I walk out and just
What's going on down there?
nothing.
Boring.
Yeah. I walk in, join the rest of them in the turned upside
I'm
down.
going to try going in through the door of the house and try to stay kind of hidden, but scout through the house and see if I see any bodies, anything like.
Yeah. So the front of the house is basically taken up by sort of just like a seating and living area, and there's a doorway that goes back into a kitchen, and off of that is a small bedroom, and that's pretty much all of the house.
Okay.
What is obviously noticeable, besides just the devastation, is it's clearly been ransacked. When you step into the kitchen, painted on the kitchen wall is a circle with 10 spoked lines coming out of it.
That looks familiar.
Yay.
Yeah. And when you get close, I don't know, do you turn on, well, I guess you have dark vision now too, don't you?
I have dark vision, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm the only one that doesn't. I'm kind of
Right.
following in the rear.
Yeah. When you get close enough, Thaddeus, it doesn't look like paint.
Oh no.
Freaking blood.
Ooh.
I'm going to try to scrape some of it off.
It's still sticky.
Oh.
I'm going to check the floor, see if there's any trace of.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give me an investigation check?
I'm keeping an eye out, by the way.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and ritual cast detect magic, because I feel like we're probably going to be in here,
Sure.
at least 10 to 15 minutes just
Yep.
doing that. So while he's doing his thing, I'll kind of glancing, but I'll start doing that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Still nothing unusual from the roof.
Nope. It's just normal city life.
She's up there laying on her back, looking at the sky like, boring.
The kids are playing with the grumble.
Aw. Hey, you could try sending a letter using your tweet paper.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'd have to buy more than I feel like I want to have that.
Oh, that's right.
Thaddeus, what was the total of your investigation check?
Total was 2, so I didn't see anything.
Yeah, among all the junk, you found sweet F all.
So finding that, I'm pretty sure the house is empty, so I'm going to look around for lamps or something to try to get some light in.
Yeah, I'd say I'd kind of like to have some light.
Yeah, so
first
there'd be some
things
oil
come in.
lamps that you can light. By about that time, Doc, you complete your ritual. You sort of like look around. You don't feel that, like, you know, your spidey senses don't tingle.
Mm,
Nothing lights up when you're looking around.
okay.
Pretty easy to do a quick survey of the house because you can see through like objects and see the glow of magic and stuff.
Right.
And
Just kind of
see
making the rounds around the walls and seeing if it reaches.
nothing until when you're in the kitchen and sort of going through around at the back, it ends up being like really, really faint. But you see just like a minuscule, tiny glow of like, you know, a weak enchantment in the corner.
Okay, and
It's just like tucked on, like kicked under, you know, some stuff that's turned over.
okay, so while Thaddeus and Styx are kind of searching out, it's like, hey, I think I found something. You know, just kind of give them alert before I go digging in, and then I'll go ahead and I'll pursue.
Okay, so you sort of reach in and grab it, and your hand kind of goes through like a small pool of blood that's there, and you pull a little bit of like torn black fabric.
Okay.
And when you pull it out, there's a little metal clasp. It looks like it was like maybe holding together a cloak. And it is shaped like a spider.
Shaped like a spider.
Oh, it's a drow thing. Ah!
And if you show it to Dahlia, you would recognize like that the fabric is a drow fabric from like a drow cloak.
Recognizing that, I'm going to...
Oh, and Thaddeus probably would too.
Yeah, I'm going to take a moment and focus my primeval awareness.
Okay.
See if I sense any fae or anything around other than Dahlia.
Well, Dahlia wouldn't even register on that. She's not technically fae. She's a humanoid still. She's closer to her fae ancestry than most.
I just fluoresce.
Yeah. But no, you don't detect
No
any
fae, no aberrations, no nothing like that. Okay.
I'll go ahead. Two things. Cindy, because I cast that detect magic, that was a concentration spell, so you may have felt a little less observant because enhanced ability dropped.
You're busy staring at the sky now.
Hey, that cloud doesn't look like a rhino anymore.
When you all eventually come out, Emmeline has in boredom dropped off of the roof and is now playing with the children and the goblins.
That's fair.
I will go ahead and ritual cast identify on the clasp.
All right. Yeah, so you would eventually complete that. It's not like the enchantment basically is just that it's not gonna like rust and fall apart. It's like super
okay.
minor. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything beneficial beyond being a very minor item.
Doc, can I, if you're done, can I see that? I take it and I'm gonna like just spin it around, see if there's any like markings or engravings on like the back of it or whatever.
So on the very back is carved a drow letter F.
Letter what?
Cool.
Who was it? The name that was on the map?
Fenerus Stormcastle. But Fenerus is a human, as far as you know.
I just kind of like stare at it. Do you mind if I hold on to this?
By all means.
And I'd like stick it in the satchel.
Yep. Okay, so we didn't find anything.
Yeah. It appears this is a remarkably uninteresting house.
Something happened here, but just recently, but we're not finding. What are we missing?
Well, we have heard the Xanathar Guild is after Rainier. They may be on the same path we are.
You already knew and had been aware that the Stone of Golorr was originally in the Xanathar Guild's possession.
Yeah.
Till it
Yeah.
recently was stolen.
Is there a sewer nearby?
What's that?
A sewer? Like a...
Yeah, there would definitely be a sewer entrance somewhere nearby. You don't see one directly in the alley, but there would be one.
Okay.
Pretty close for sure.
Will, do you guys?
Are you gonna call the grumble like like right down the
like
manhole? Or
just
something?
like, well, I mean, when all else fails, we always seem to end up in the sewers. You think that's a?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that worth pursuing, or do we try to search the area a little more? Or I don't know. I'm at a loss. My spidey senses are the
Well, I haven't been able to see anything until we got light in there. So,
Oh,
I mean, we could ask the grumble to search the sewers around there.
It's very true.
I doubt there's much else to be found here unless Stick sees something in the house that we missed.
So I have a question for the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, thank God for your notes. So the Friendarth are an organization?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Bregendarth.
Bregendarth. Okay.
Yeah.
Bregendarth. How do you spell that?
Bregan, and then the second word is D'. I don't know if it's AE or EA. I think it's EARTHE.
Okay, that's good enough. That way it has a phonetic. And when I asked Cleo about the drow person,
yes,
the name they gave me was Solon Zaperda. Is that right?
Solon is the person that you guys captured.
Okay, shit. I wish I've got my notes out today.
There was talk of, was it Celiston? Celiston, was that the name? Or are you talking about Dralaxel?
Well, so Soliston is the person that you captured, who was like murdering people. And then when you gave him to Davil mentioned Bregendarth and Dralaxel, Baenray. So you'd heard that.
But Cleo had mentioned it as well.
Yes, that's right.
Oh man.
Okay. Cool. DM, as I think back to that name, what do I remember?
I'm trying to remember if Cleo actually told you the
Cleo
name.
gave me the name.
Did they? Okay.
And I feel like it started with an F. That's why I'm like,
yes.
Not Fenris, though.
So the name was Felric.
Yes, that's right. It was Fel. I knew it was Fel.
Oh, okay.
So Solon was the guy that was beheading people.
Yes.
I asked about Drow to Cleo. They said that they'd heard of them as
Felric.
Felric?
Yeah. FEL''REKT.
And what's the name on the map?
Fenerus Stormcastle.
Okay, these names are too close together. And that person's a human. Okay.
That person's a human.
Oh boy. Okay.
Who like you've talked to people that like he works as a lamplighter in Waterdeep. He's lived here for at least, a decade or so. Okay. Or not a decade or so, but a little while.
And Felric is a member of the Bregendarth as well.
Right.
Okay. And that's when we learned about Dralaxel. Cool. I'm amending your notes, Ryan.
Oh, by all means. So why was this lamplighter on this map? Did he live a double life? Or did he just happen to see something at the wrong time?
You don't know.
Was he just a middleman?
Or he could have actually had the coin and not had something in the house and not known it.
Not knowing it.
We go back in. Okay.
So remember, you know absolutely the Nimblewright was at Growlhund Villa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Nimblewright was instructed to come here.
Okay.
Here.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know the Nimblewright was sent somewhere, and you found a map on the Nimblewright.
Yeah.
So let's ask the kids, have they seen the Nimblewright before?
Oh, there's a thought.
Might as well. Shiny man.
When
They
you
would.
come out of the building, Emmeline's playing with the kids in the grumble, so you can come.
Well, they've seen them before in parades, because
Okay.
sometimes you see them in parades from Gone. And yes, they did see one in the alley the other day.
What was he doing?
They don't know.
Got
They just
assembled.
saw him.
They just saw him.
How long ago was that?
Like they say, just basically it coincides. It'd be like
Just
a
every
couple of
day,
days
right.
ago, basically.
So he'd been there before. Nim.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Well, you mind if we go? You want to go back in and see if we find anything else? Fresh
Does the
eyes.
house have any kind of private yard or garden or?
No, it's like a teeny tiny house. It like backs onto another house.
Yeah, I kind of want to take the light hammer and maybe just gradually go against the walls and see if there's like the sound difference, maybe like a hidden door, just anything. I don't
Okay.
know.
Give me an investigation check.
It's like there's got to be something here.
I'm gonna try to help him too. So
Okay, so you can make that check with advantage.
11. With just 11.
You're like you're tapping along, but you don't
Okay.
find anything.
Well,
What's the
appreciate it,
back of the
Stilts.
house? Another house?
But there is no like real back. It only has the one entrance.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, if Emmeline dropped off the roof behind it, what is behind it?
Oh, there would be just another building that faces onto a street.
So if she went in there, who's there?
If you went into like random
The
other
opposite
house on the street,
Side on the other street. Yeah. Like, have you heard anything funny, kind of?
okay, like if you knocked on the door, someone would like kind of come and be very confused.
Right. Hi. So we're just, my friends and I are kind of curious about something that happened in the building behind you. In the last few days, have you heard anything strange, like any yells or sounds or anything from back there?
And there's just sort of a like a working tradesman. Well, good stone walls. We don't hear our neighbors. So other than the parade that came through the other yesterday, all kinds of noise and racket. Can't say as I've heard anything unusual.
Well, thanks for your time. Would you like some soap? It's goat milk soap, lavender lemon. I made it myself. Thanks for your time. Here you go.
And yeah, like looks super confused when you're giving him soap. Sort of
Hi.
stammers out a thank you.
So, Dan, you said the cloak clasp was found like he had to reach through blood or something that was.
Yep.
I'd like to go check that out more and see if there's anything else in that.
There's just some like splots of blood on the floor.
Well,
Was it Davin that knew about the Bregendarth?
Davil did know about
Davil?
them, yep. Davil's currently in jail, so
Oh shit! God, I'm so behind.
A lot of Zentarum were rounded up in the last couple of weeks after the incident at Growlhen Villa.
Yeah,
Oh, that makes sense.
we did make some. Well,
I'm gonna go up to Doc, like one hand, like a couple fingers on my temple, rubbing it and holding the drow glass, and say, I'm gonna spin it around and point at the F, and say, I don't know how this would be possible, but I might know this person that this belonged to.
Really?
I mean, it could either be a huge coincidence, or something completely unrelated, but symbol, material, it's all something consistent with drow. And I've recently found out that a drow that I have known goes by the name of Felrict, and there's an F on the back of this. And I'm not sure what to make of it or what to do with this.
Yeah, it's not too much of a coincidence there. That is.
And per Cleo, this person is a member of the Brigand Darth, and I have no idea how that ties into all of this.
Yeah, we seem to have crossed paths with them when we captured that fellow down in the dock area.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. And Davil have heavily hinted that we do not want to cross paths with them.
Well, I think I've already crossed paths with them.
Oh. All right, then.
So as you are talking, a voice speaks out from the doorway.
Oh, God!
Emmeline, you are just like rounding back into the alley sort of at this point. And so you can see standing in the doorway a tall woman with a long emerald green cloak and like long silvery hair that sort of almost like floats around her head. That's like billows out from underneath a hood that's drawn up. But as you guys turn around, you just hear a voice just says, "Well, we've been taking long enough in here, so I thought I would come to you. You've come for Fenerus Stormcastle. I'm afraid you're too late. It appears that the Xanathar has gotten to him first. Fenerus had something in his possession that I desire. I thought perhaps you could help me retrieve it." And as you turn around, all of you recognize, standing in the doorway, Lariel Silverhand, the Open Lord of Waterdeep.
Wait. Is this the big head honcho guy?
Yeah,
There's
Big
the
honcho her.
there's the Open Lord and the Masked Lords who sort of rule Waterdeep. The Masked Lords are always kept secret so that, people can't bribe them, and they don't even know who each other are. And so they all sort of collectively run the city, but there is one who's the Open Lord, and the Open Lord is the public ruler of the city.
Ooh.
I immediately dropped disguise self.
Sort of as it shimmers away, she just quirks an eyebrow and says, young Frostfeather, I suppose. And she kind of like looks out the door.
I am too. I'm another one. Hello.
Younger Frostfeather. And she like steps aside, to let you, like.
Hi.
pass
I'm here
and
too. Hi.
gather in with the group.
Please excuse my sister.
Emmeline puts her boomerang back in her belt and she's like, kids know how to use this now.
Well, it has, been my attention for some time that my predecessor stole a rather significant sum from the city, which he hid There's an item, the Stone of Golorr, a sentient magic item that he had that can lead one to its whereabouts.
Okay.
I've come to understand that it recently surfaced and made its way here to Fenerus's hands. But it appears that we were too late. And the Xanathar's Guild got here first, and once again has the Stone of Golorr. Nevertheless, I happen to know that nearby is a Xanathar Guild hideout in a cellar complex connected to the sewers. I can't imagine that it would have gone anywhere else, and whoever hit Fenerus's place here had to have done so in the last couple of hours.
Okay.
This
It's
is
a
the
blood
only
sport.
place I can imagine where it is. This problem has grown a little outside of what the watch can handle. And I see here before me 2 scions of the city. So,
Indeed.
I would propose that, being the good upstanding citizens you are, with the interests of Waterdeep at heart, that you would help me in retrieving the stone, retrieving the embezzled funds. In return, I will give you a not inconsiderable cut.
Indeed, we only wish what is best for the city.
I can't imagine that you would turn your noses down at, say, 10,000 gold pieces. Especially since this money rightfully belongs to the coffers of the city.
We have been asked to look into this by the Black Staff, who is expecting a cut as well.
Well,
As would be
the Black
separate.
Staff, as a ruling figure of the city, I think that this is merely a case of the left hand not quite knowing what the right is doing, which is not unusual for the Grey Hands.
Indeed.
Nevertheless, our desires converge in this, and the Black Staff would be not seeking a cut, merely the return of the funds to the city, I would assume.
This
I look at
would appear to be the desire of the city and in the best interest. Of course, as an upstanding house of the city, we will do whatever we can. I cannot speak for my compatriots.
Well, been here quite a while, and so has my family. It's only right that we do right by the city when called upon. I will ask, is there anything that the city can help aid us in this venture, just to help with success?
Well, I'm afraid that time is of the essence, and any resources I could marshal would be too late in coming. I fear that if we wait much longer, the stone could disappear for good into the Xanathar's clutches, and I hate to think what a paranoid, powerful beholder would do with 500,000 gold added to his already not inconsiderable resources.
All right, understood. Well, everyone, are we...
Dahlia, you were going to say something earlier?
I'm just like looking down at my feet as all this is going on, and I look up at the open Lord, and and because of my courtier background, I know how to like address this person.
Right.
I've made a home here in Waterdeep, and it's been good to me. but I don't need the money. What I do ask is for information in exchange for this.
I would happily provide any information that I can.
When we return, since time is of the essence, when we return from this task, I would like audience with you.
Of course.
Will you come to me or will I come to you?
Well, when you find, or if you find this stone, or if you do not find it at the cellar complex, you can return and find me. I will be waiting at the Seven Masks Theater.
All right.
Should things go beyond that, then we will talk again.
Okay. And look at Doc and Thaddeus and everybody else. Let's go and try and stay alive.
Yeah. All right.
Always a good plan.
Yep.
Sounds like an idea.
I'm going to pin together my little headscarf with that trowel pin.
Okay. All right.
And this is our montage where we walk triumphantly to this.
In the sewer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Lariel gave you directions to the cellar complexes in the South Ward.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's like close being a relative
Right.
term. And she gave you directions, sort of like what sewer entrance to go into. So you wouldn't go to like the nearest sewer
Right.
entrance. You know, you would go to the closest one to it. And so in the South Ward, you would come to let me just double check this here. Yes. So you would find a set of stairs that go down and lead to so you would see a door, right? Sewer access, authorized city officials only. But you've been given a handy key to do so. And you would enter into a sewer tunnel and sort of led kind of some directions into a sewer tunnel. And there is basically a long tunnel at the end of which is a door.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to kick it down again, Dahlia?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No.
So the door is apparently made of rusted iron, so it's quite rusty. It's up on a ledge, so you get out of the muck and water onto this ledge, and there's this rusty door. And the lock has actually corroded out of it, so it's not even lockable.
All right.
And remind me again, Dahlia, what's your passive perception?
14.
Okay.
My passive insight is what's higher.
Right.
I'm just always.
Do we hear anything through the door?
While we're doing this, I want to at least address Styx, Thaddeus, and Emmeline, and since you guys will most likely be in the fray, I'd like to at least aid you in this endeavor. I'm going to cast aid on you guys. You get 5. You get to increase your current hit points by 5.
Woo!
Oh,
Great.
sweet.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Like that.
That lasts for 8 hours.
Oh,
nice.
White.
Woo.
All right.
Very good.
This is where Doc starts getting really paranoid. They're trying to keep everyone alive, and all that's on the other side is just some old onions. Who knows? But
So can we hear anything through the door if we're like...
Give me a perception check.
That's the first time I've rolled the dice this game, and it sucked a lot. 5.
Yeah, so like, you know, you've got the rushing water behind you because the sewer tunnel, it's basically like a small shit creek. Not Schitt's Creek, which is a TV show.
It is.
Like flowing in behind you, and so like over, you know, the babbling brook of poop, you don't hear, you basically can't discern any other sounds.
I'm gonna be trying to listen too.
All right, and also give me a perception check.
Oh man, I also rolled like poop.
It's a theme. You're in the sewers and rolling.
Yeah,
like
only
poop.
got 10. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, so the same thing. I mean, yeah, just too much interference.
I'm going to suggest somebody. Does the door push open or pull open?
It looks like it pushes open.
I'm going to suggest somebody push open the door while I stand back as far as I can, arrow cock, whatever
Go
comes
ahead.
out.
I'm just going to take one of my sticks and kind of just push it in
I'm
Yeah.
hiding.
real easily.
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of light filtering out through like the rusty metal and like where the lock, you know, was rotted out. So it, when you push, the door squeals open on rusted hinges,
Mhm.
just like.
I'm gonna get flat against the wall right by the opening so that I can kind of be ready, like, you know, do the whole.
Just like
Yeah.
the just like the cart. I'm just gonna be posted up. Like I can't hide.
Yeah.
And so there's like a corridor with like a little bit of a doorway off to the left, and the corridor seems to kind of curve around to the right, and then sliding into view, sort of with like two crappy crossbows, like two goblins like bust out behind the door and sort of like slide across the floor with their crossbows raised, and one of them just says, you know, stop, but in Goblin, and the other one like elbows him and repeats it in Common.
So in Goblin, I'm going to just shout out, "You really don't want to shoot us."
And they look at each other. Shoot? No shoot? Don't want to shoot? I don't want to shoot.
Don't want to shoot.
And they
We're
like
friends of goblins.
swing back and they say, "Why no shoot?"
How close are they? Are they in the doorway?
No, they're sort of like down the corridor, so they're probably about 20 feet away.
So if Emmeline's flat against the wall, she can't see them, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say, we're friends of goblins. We pay much better than Xanathar.
And they look. Make a persuasion check.
We're paying them.
Can the grumble help them out? Can he get advantage from the grumble?
That's actually
If you would
20.
like to invoke the grumble.
No.
We're playing Fate all of a sudden. We'd like to invoke our aspect of the grumble.
Yes.
So 22 persuasion.
Okay. So they look around and they go, and then they swing back and they go, "School?"
Yes. Goblin school.
That's us.
And they
That's
talk
us!
back and forth to each other in Goblin. And they're like, "Yeah, I heard of these guys. Oh yeah, way better economic conditions. These guys really seem like they're out for the betterment of Goblin kind and not just taking advantage of our
Yeah,
perceived.
We offer full
stupidity."
benefits. We're good.
Really, like 401k. Like
Basic
Donuts.
coverage. Yeah. We're
All the pop-
dental too.
Donuts you could ask for.
Donuts. Oh fuck yeah! And they like shoulder their crossbows and like walk out.
All right, easy. Love it.
As they're passing, they say, "Watch out for Drunky Two Fist."
Donkey Two-Fist. Who's that?
Oh yeah, the half ogre that's in the room.
Oh,
Just
cool.
there,
Thank
and like
you
sort of
for the
thumbs
warning.
up.
I'll take care of him.
He's probably drunk though.
She's ready to punch something so hard.
She really, really wants to. She was so bored on that roof. She just tears over the hallway. She's like, "All mine. It's mine. It's mine."
Let me at him.
Flashing through the shit creek.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And like, so if you like kind of step through the door into the corridor, since the goblins left, and sort of like once you step into that tunnel, and so like the sound of the water fades a little bit, you can hear like a low singing coming from that closed doorway that's on the left.
Oh.
She is trying to approach stealthily. She wants to get her fists into something. She's like ready, man.
Give me a
I'm like-
stealth check.
I've like held out a hand after Emily, like, no.
Too late, too late. She's gone.
I'm following her with the bow cocked.
That is a whopping 9 for stealth. She
my
is so ready to punch something.
So the door's like closed. It's just like a ratty wooden door, basically.
Oh, so she's got to the door?
Yeah. You
Is
can
anyone
hear-
behind her?
Yeah, I'm
I-
following.
Yeah, and Thaddeus is in
I'm
behind you.
following, but at a little bit of the distance.
But
Like,
you then
just
hear from
in
the
time.
door, you hear like a massive belch, and then who's in there?
He kicks the door down and somersaults in.
So you kick the door open and somersault in, and standing in the middle of the room, like had sort of just pushed itself up from this chair, is this like obese half ogre who has an entire keg of ale that he's got like clasped in one hand, that he is just in the or not one hand, but he's got like his arm wrapped around
Yeah.
it, but he's in the process of like lowering it down, and beers like sloshes over his belly.
He headbutts and tackles him.
Jesus Christ.
Roll
Lord.
an initiative for me.
Emmeline has so much steam she needs to blow off. Good Lord.
Wow!
She just needs to get it with Edmund. That's the problem.
That-
She is sexually repressed and she just rolled a 1.
oh, this is glorious.
But I have +8 initiative, so I mean that's 9, but yeah.
Emily like somersaults, and I'm like, we probably don't even. Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Because she remembers her success with the half orc last time and she's like, mine.
What about everybody else?
Are we doing this?
Well, I mean, you may as well roll initiative just so you're in.
Yeah,
that
no,
order.
that was more like a general question to like the other people that didn't rush in.
I'm gonna have to follow her in.
I was behind by a bit, ready for craziness, so I got 20.
She was so bored on that roof, man. She's ready. But not, because 1.
All right,
11. Oh my god.
Dahlia.
What do we do?
19.
I love it.
And Sticks.
A 2.
All right. So Thaddeus is the first to go, like as Emmeline like dives, like kind of
Somersault.
through the doorway. Yeah, but somersaults badly. Like she catches her foot as she comes up, so she's like stumbling and off balance.
She's like, dang, I need to practice that.
And this like half ogre is just like standing there, kind of swaying in the room.
So I had the bow ready, sharpshooter shot.
Okay.
I'm just like, we don't have to do this.
21 to hit
Yeah, that definitely hits.
with sharpshooter. So that's 1d8. Oops, that's not d8.
I started to fight. I can't finish.
That is 15 damage.
Okay.
Jesus.
Wow.
So your arrow
This poor guy was just drinking
catches
alone.
this half ogre in the shoulder,
I
and
wasn't going to shoot him. I was just trying to tackle him, and then you go
And he-
and shoot him.
he just bellows and like
You.
claps his hands to it and like rips out the arrow, and like sort of drunkenly goes, "Why, tiny man, hurt God?" And he drops the barrel, which cracks open on the floor and shatters, and like lumbers forward. But of course, Emmeline is the one in the way. because Thaddeus is behind her through the doorway in the hall, and everyone else is like not even within view because you're down.
Can I trip him? Can I like stick out a leg and trip him?
Well, no, because it's not your turn yet, and he's not moving past you for a reaction. He tries to backhand you, but he's swinging drunkenly, and so he whiffs over your head as he like swings. I guess it wasn't with his backhand. It was like he picked up this massive battle axe on his way up and like woofs over your head and then crashes into the wall, sends like stone chips flying everywhere. And then it's Dahlia's turn. Dahlia, probably all you can see because you're back the hallway like a little bit, sort of probably in behind at least Thaddeus. As you just see like the tip of this axe like crash into the door frame and like hear the bellowing, and then Thaddeus like standing in the middle of the hallway.
I'll just shout out to everybody, ogre attacking.
Ogre.
Just sigh like,
It's actually
He
clear
was-
it's actually a half ogre.
He was drunk and singing. Could have probably just ignored him.
Join them.
I'm just gonna sit this one out. I'm just gonna walk over to where I can see and just
like
kind of
peek around.
just so I don't get hit with a stray, axe swing and just
Right.
kinda let the bruisers do their thing, and
Okay.
I'm gonna sit this one out for now.
Sounds good. Doc, what are you doing?
Jesus.
I take the dodge action to be specific.
Okay.
Okay, so how far back was Doc? Did he see any of this go down? Or
At most, you would have just like heard and like maybe seen movement. And I mean, you would have seen
Okay.
Thaddeus like fire the arrow in,
Right.
or the bellow.
right? Okay. Oh man. Like, whoa! Sorry, big fella. we got spooked. Are you okay? Can I take care of that for you? And
God.
I'm gonna approach him with the healing kit.
Okay.
Oh my god.
First make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Sound right?
But I'm also going to give you a point of inspiration.
And I'm gonna use that because I rolled a 5. Much better. That was what was it? You said persuasion?
Yeah.
So that's a dirty 20.
So he like wavers a little bit and belches again, and he goes, "What you say, tiny man?"
Sorry, we were expecting a whole lot of danger coming in, and sorry we got a little trigger happy. Let me take care of that for you, and we can get you some more booze and donuts.
You were running in there.
I didn't tackle him. You shot him.
I hungry like donuts.
We got donuts. They're really good.
He sort of like lumbers forward. Where donuts? He's totally ignoring the fact that he's got a hole bleeding in his shoulder.
I'm sure that the Grumble has a satchel of these donuts, right?
I'm sure that they do.
So just motion over, hurry, and just give him the bag.
And he just takes it. Starts pouring donuts down his mouth. Oh, now go, tiny man. Sort of slaps you on the back.
All right, we're just gonna pass through. Thank you.
Closed door. Gug no want company.
Emmeline looks really disappointed that she didn't get to hit anything yet.
Yeah, I was knocking another arrow.
Just gonna give them the stank eye and let's go.
Put the arrow away, Thaddeus. Yeah, come on. Boring.
Using this as a chance. Other doors besides the one we just came in?
No. So the corridor would go down and sort of curve around.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, we'll take the way that we didn't come in. Is that possible?
There's just.
Oh, just him?
Yeah, so there's a corridor, right, from the entrance you came in, and there'd be a door on your left, like sort of partway down the corridor, which is where he was. And then the corridor continues a little bit and then kind of turns to the right, like goes around a corner.
Oh, okay. So it's just an offshoot.
Yeah, it's just a room off of that off that corridor.
Just Emmeline was that thirsty for blood that she was like,
she's running in front again unless you want to pull her back.
I'm running after her.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, we'll go back out and then sorry to bother you. God.
All right. So if you edge around follow the corridor, you can hear the sound of like a hammer on metal.
Forge.
It doesn't quite sound like a forge. Similar. Sounds more like someone like repairing or like banging on like sheet metal or something.
Okay. I was about to say, is this something I'm sure has Doc heard or familiar with?
Like it sounds like someone working on something.
Okay.
I mean, beyond that, like it's you know, how
Very
would you
generic.
tell someone like banging on a car door versus banging on an aircraft hull, kind of thing, right?
True. Yeah.
very interesting examples you picked.
None of which apply to Waterdeep.
So, all right, let's try this again. But
Well, I'll go first.
no, hold on. Let me give you a little bit of guidance before you go, and I'm actually going to cast guidance on her this time. Like so much happened before I could even reach her to do it the first time.
Ooh,
Right.
this is more my environment. Maybe I should go first.
Well, but I could see who it is and act all blonde again, and you all could just, hang back and
How about if I go see without anybody else seeing?
fine.
I'm still casting guidance on Emmeline because she probably
He needs it.
All right.
So I'm going to try to sneak ahead and see if I can see what the lay of the land is.
All right. So go ahead and give me a stealth check.
That's a 7.
Oh no! I cast it on the wrong brass feather. Oh no!
Thaddeus slips and runs into the wall or something.
So you're edging down this corridor, and your foot catches on a piece of stone, which goes like clattering into a large room, which is where the banging is coming from. And you hear a couple voices. What languages do you speak?
Elvish, Common, Undercommon, and Goblin.
Okay. You actually hear 3 deep voices speaking to each other in Undercommon, saying, what was that?
I shout out in Goblin, sorry!
Holy shit!
Give me a deception check.
Does he get advantage because it's like
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely take advantage on that.
That's a dirty 20.
yeah.
All right. And so the voice basically throws a barrage of curse words back in Goblin, telling you exactly where you can do and certain provenances about your mother.
Oh.
And about lazy goblins and go back to work.
Nice.
So I'm going back up to people and tell them what I heard that was Undercommon.
Emmeline really grudgingly looks at him in admiration. Nice job.
I know what I'm doing.
For once.
Who
All right.
would we know what who speaks Undercommon?
Any number of creatures who live in the Underdark.
Okay.
Does he know it was Undercommon? Did he recognize it? Even though he couldn't translate?
What's that? No,
I mean,
Thaddeus knew. Thaddeus speaks Undercommon.
Yeah.
I
I
all
know
right.
Undercommon. So
Well,
So, did I hear anything before the slip that would have been conversation?
No.
No? Okay. So, I don't know who it was. I don't know what it was, but it sounded like there were at least 3 or 4 of them there.
Want to take the more deceitful approach and present ourselves fully, or are we looking to take the Emmeline approach and somersault in and headbutt things?
It would be nice if we could sneak Thaddeus closer so that he could listen and see if they're talking about anything important.
I mean, I know where the slippery rock is now. I can
Try again.
You'll get it this time, and then I'll cast guidance on him. If you want to go ahead and D4 and try to get closer, see if we can't hear what we're about to get ourselves into.
I'm going to put my hand on Thaddeus' shoulder and say, I know I give you a hard time, but it's because it's easy too. But
I know what you mean.
But you're really good with the goblins, and you were really good with the kids.
Good with kids.
Well, thank you, Dahlia.
Take a D6 of inspiration.
Yay.
Okay, I'm going to try
D4,
64 again. And I need all that help.
Oh no!
That's a 16 total.
Okay,
So-
that's way better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for
That was with
help.
guidance and inspiration.
All right. So you get closer this time and sort of peek around the corner. And what you can see is it's sort of a large room, just a big square kind of chamber. In the very middle of it is this large, like, spherical metal shape, and it's from inside that you can hear the hammering. And you're like, what is the... And then you, like, look around and, like, something hammers and someone yells something, and, like, something swivels around, like a metal tube with, like, a big eye on top. It quickly becomes apparent that it is a large metal beholder, but, like, not a real beholder, like a metallic
submarine?
construct.
Like a construct beholder.
But shaped like a beholder. You can't tell whether it's, at a quick glance, you can't tell. Is it like a vehicle? Is it, what exactly it is? And then standing in the room are 3 gray-skinned, bald dwarves with long white beards that you recognize as Dwergar.
Dwergar, yep.
And that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
Son of a bee. This is getting crazy. Now we're getting into creatures from the Underdark. What the fuck?
Oh, man.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
I only rolled like twice this game.
They were both phenomenal rolls, too.
And poor Styx was blipping in and out of existence.
Yes.
Sticks,
Yeah, Jeff's internet connection. Or Matt's internet connection.
Yeah. He looks sad on the connection.
Well, I'm
he's
not sure if he's frozen again or if he's fallen asleep.
I think
I think he froze again. All right, so thanks everyone for tuning in on a unusual time for us, and as we struggled with our discombobulation this evening and internet connection problems, but nevertheless we got through some stuff. All right, so we will do our traditional go round. You can remind us where we can find you this week, and what your favorite moment was. So let's start. We'll go in the opposite order. Why don't we start with Cindy?
Okay, that was an interesting game. Pretty great fail on Emmeline's part. I don't know. Interesting in between sort of game, in between action scenes, I think. Dahlia with the Kodak moment, I think, was my favorite. Emmeline's slightly disappointed she never got her message to Edwin, but I guess there's not quite 2.5 minutes to spare, Dan. So.
Yes, yeah. Why don't actually I'm gonna post because I'm not gonna be able to figure out how to play that for people. So I'm gonna copy the link, and we will see maybe next week or Thursday. Actually, it's not even next week. That at the start of the game, I will try and play this. But otherwise, I'm gonna post a link because I can do that in chat to a YouTube video.
It's an actual thing.
Yeah, I put it on YouTube. We filmed something ridiculous for like 2.5 minutes yesterday.
I'm gonna save it for next week.
Yeah.
So you guys have fun on Thursday. I'm going to be singing Christmas carols at a prison.
Oh. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Good
Well,
for you.
that sounds like a great thing to be doing. Bringing some cheer to some people who I am sure can use it.
Yeah.
So that is excellent. Jeff, what about you?
So I'm Jeff, Atomic Straw on Twitter, and yeah, this was a crazy game.
Right?
You think?
I think my favorite part was just a series of epic fails we had all of us.
Yeah, that would be a good way of describing it. A series of failures. But quite honestly, that usually makes the game more fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, what about you?
Oh man, I'd like to think that we actually did really well, like defusing possible like bad situations. It's great that Thaddeus has a silver tongue.
Surprisingly.
That speaks Goblin.
Yeah, and speaks Goblin. Who knew that saved us like multiple times? So that was pretty cool.
I had no idea that would be so useful.
Right. So that's actually been really cool to see how that's played out. But like, just how much has the game advanced during this game is, I don't know. I'm really intrigued now and really thankful that the L'Oreal or in the green dress came to save us, because like I was really like rattling my brain about where we're going next. So that was definitely probably the turning point.
By the way, Dan, the other thing that was cool is a Brass Feather backstory. I forgot.
Oh yeah, thank you.
That was very cool.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was good to bring that in and to dangle it with something tantalizing.
Yes.
Not an answer, but more questions.
Yeah. And I'm Ryan, and you can find me at rRudabach on Twitter or Red Hand Roleplay. We have on iTunes and Podbean and everywhere else. And we have a few players in the other sessions as well. And things are getting good. We're getting to the tail end of season 1, and it's like a lot. It really defines the game, I guess. So
it's been good. I haven't listened to the whole season. I came in sort of over the last couple of weeks, basically, and I'm mostly caught up. Anyway, it's good. Definitely give it a listen.
Yeah.
All right, and Nox.
What was my favorite moment? Yeah, there was a lot of good ones. I really liked watching the Brass Feathers, learning about their brother from Blackstep. That's a lot of bees. That was really cool. Especially like role-playing a character is really interesting. An interesting thing to experience and to watch. But watching Cindy go from like a goofy kind of Emmeline to this like very serious person was really fun and cool to watch, and like that stuff is like mwah, of course, selfishly finding the F on the back of the drow pin. I don't know what Dan's going to do with that, but I'm bracing myself for a lot of heartbreak. Yeah, you can find me on the internets, on Twitter at Noctua, where I tweet about whatever I want. In the gaming world, you can find me here at a regular time slot every Thursday at 6 Mountain Time. No, sorry, 6:30 Mountain Time. I'm looking at my Google Calendar and I have the call times in there. I've been on Anaris's channel playing an Adventurers League game every Tuesday, but there are some changes coming to that format that we're not ready to announce yet because we lost a character to petrification.
Oh no.
And we only had 3 players. And in Adventurers League, you need a table size of 3 people at minimum. So
Right.
we had to, and there's a lot of new changes to Adventurers League.
Yeah, to the new season.
Yeah, to this season that we've just been kind of constantly complaining about. So there's some changes to be expected there. So we haven't played. We didn't play last week. We're not playing this week. So I'm not quite sure when those changes will take effect. But otherwise, you can find me there every Tuesday, 6:30 Mountain Time. And this Saturday, I have said this quite a few Saturdays in a row. It's been over a month since we played last, just for a number of schedule conflict issues and people being sick, and I didn't want to run a game without everybody present.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, this Saturday, we'll be back on my channel, Fable Tales, at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, playing Blue Rose, which is a fantasy age system. So I'm running them through a pre-published little adventure, and we're a decent amount of the way through on that, so I'm excited to get back to that. And then it's also been a long time since I played in this game over in Mort's Magical Lairs. We're in a dungeon world game called Towers of Urza. I always get it mixed up with Ezra, like Ezra Klein. So it's Towers of Urza, and that's at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And I'm a bard there too. So yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Well, for me, I think my favorite 2 moments were dealing with some deeper connections into both Dahlia and the Brosfeathers backstories, because they gave me some excellent things that I could work with that coincided nicely with the game here. So I'm excited to see where those are going to go. I do often bring feelings into the game. They're usually, more sad than happy. But I like to bring the joy too. So we will see where those go. So yes, people can find me here. This is pretty much the only place I'm streaming right now. Other than randomly, I show up on someone else's stream, but it's usually a pretty last minute thing. And of course, you can find me on the Twitter at MadsciDM. So you can find all of our other shows on YouTube, our back catalog, if you Google Variant Roles, and follow us there, because we have to hit 100 followers on Twitter before we can get, YouTube/Variant Roles or whatever it is. So working towards that. Of course, you can follow us here. You can subscribe if you want to. We've got a Patreon you can find down below, which is patreon.com/Variant Roles. To help support growing more arts and, just production costs, and let us do more cool stuff here on the channel. And of course, this week we are all back to our regular schedules. So tomorrow will be the winter group at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That is DM'd by the fabulous DM Jazzy Hands Eugenio Vargas. Although there'll be a substitute teacher in play for the first little bit of the stream, because Eugenio is just going to be on his way back from PAX and madly driving from the airport. So he won't be there.
Oh man,
he won't be there to start the stream. So pinch hitting with team feelings is me. So I'm gonna kick things off and hold down the fort.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Yeah, so I'll try not to TPK.
All right, handing it off.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll try not to TPK his crew as we get things started.
Welcome home.
Everyone's dead. They're all mad.
Dysentery.
Yeah. Thursday, of course, we will be back at our usual time slot, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the summer crew, and Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And so this is the start of week 10. Is that right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will be the start
this-
of week 10.
Yeah.
So we are approaching the end. We will be wrapping this up in a couple of weeks. The week before Christmas, we will have our finales and see how all the stories are going. So definitely a lot of our early stuff, of course, we were following similar paths, but now things are diverging quite dramatically from one another as differences between the streams is revealed. So we encourage everyone to tune in to all our content because, watch it all.
Yeah.
All right. So we hope to see everyone here again on Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Uh,